Hello and welcome back, Squirrel Nation. I hope you're all having an outstanding day. Today I am doing a second collaboration video with this handsome man in the bottom right, Shredded Puzzle. We split the tier list into two parts. The first part is on his channel. The link is in the descriptions, and this is the second part. For those of you coming for the second part to my channel, I hope you enjoy the content. If you enjoy the channel, please like and subscribe. And with that said, let's dive into the second half.
Unicorn. What are we talking about with Unicorn? Are we talking about getting gold value out of her, or just her as a unit?
I mean, to me, this tier list is, like, the way I look at a tier list in Auto Chest is, when my shop pops up, am I buying this hero?
Am I buying this hero? Well,
right?
then we need to put her triple S.
Yeah, like, I buy her a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, but do you agree with my premise of what the tier list is like?
I don't really agree. I think we're also talking about their strength on the board or the strength in comps. So, like, I'm not going to put Unicorn triple S because I always buy her. But I think I'll put her... I'll take an...
You always buy her.
Yeah, we will always buy her, but how much will we use her? So
you use her a lot for your Lone Druid. I guarantee you, if your Lone Druid didn't have a Unicorn to get him to 3-star, you would not have him at S.
Okay, that's
but
also
no,
good
I feel you. So,
yeah.
But we should be, yeah. So we'll do on the board.
Yeah, I'll put her B, not only for on the board strength, I'm also taking into account the fact that she can make Razor Claw easy to upgrade, the fact that you can sell her for extra gold, because on her own as a unit, other than for the B synergies, she's practically useless.
Yeah,
so,
I will never put her on the board after, like, round, I don't know, 10.
Yeah.
Honestly, even at round 10, I'm kind of hesitant to put her on the board. So, yeah, I agree with you.
Venom, I think I would put C.
I used to hate him more, but his DPS as a assassin is actually very high. He's one of the highest DPS, and then he fits into Dragon synergies.
Yeah.
Which, Dragon is very nice against the current Warrior meta. So... I wouldn't put him too... I would put him B. I'll just say where I would...
Yeah, I think his ultimate damage is really high.
Super high.
But I feel like if you're running him in an Assassin's comp, I feel like he's expensive. And you're not running him for the Dragon synergy. And he may or may not even get off his ultimate. So I think in Assassins, I would never run him. But in Dragons, you need to run him, and he's great in Dragons. But what do you think about that? Would you run him in Assassins?
Yes, I do run them in the South. So, okay, I want to be clear about this, though. So when I run 6 Assassins, I'm targeting 6 Assassins.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm not being picky and choosy about my Assassins.
Yeah.
So, ideally, like, in a perfect world, if I hit everything I want, you still would probably choose him. Because, like I said, he's extremely high DPS. He has a 1-second attack speed, right? Mm-hmm. So, he's tied for the fastest attacking. And it comes down to this, like, if I have a 2-star Soulbreaker or a 2-star Venom, I'm going to take the Venom. His damage is going to be higher, right?
Yeah.
I think the only Assassins who out DPS him, if you have equivalent stars...
Shining Assassin?
Yeah, Shining Assassin. And even then, it depends how early they die. It comes down to that. So, yeah. So, okay. I mean, he's very good.
Okay, good. Fair enough. Okay, now, Venomancer... I know a lot of people like him a lot, but usually I never end up running him.
Puke, never. Garbage. Absolute garbage. But when the Warlock got changed, I was like, I'm going to try him out. He's going to be good. He strips armor but the problem is he has no armor. If you don't put armor's items onto him, he's so bad.
Yeah, he's too squishy. And what if he's 2-starred and he always gets off his ultimate, then is there some value? Like, is he good for your team?
Okay, let me ask you a question to your question. Yeah. What comp are you putting him in?
Yeah, that's my issue. Like, I want to try to fit him into a comp, but I feel like he doesn't really fit into any comp. At least the games that I've played.
Yeah, 6 Goblin. That's the only thing I will use him for. Like, I literally will choose a Desperate Doctor over him for the Warlock synergy. Like, that, as an example, right? Like, I'll choose a Poison Worm over him for Warlock. I'll choose... he to me is, I need to think, but I'll say he's one of the worst 4-cost
So units. Would you even put him C?
I'm tempted to put him D because his cost.
Are you kidding?
Because you have to think about, you're investing 12 gold to get him to 2-star.
Yeah.
Like, okay, think about this. If I offer him to you at round 10,
Yeah.
Right? So you're getting a super early 4 cost.
Yeah.
Right? Are you going to put him on the board? Okay,
No.
yeah, maybe.
I probably wouldn't even put him on there.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, then we
I'd be
have
like,
to
I
put
care
him.
more about economy
You
than
see,
him.
you get my point, right?
Yeah.
It's like if he's a 4 cost that you wouldn't even buy at round 10, that's saying something.
There was one game I was in though where they were running 6 goblins, they had a lot of armor, and I was like, what could be a unit that could win me the game? And I was thinking maybe a 2-star Venomancer could win me the game because he would shred all their armor and allow me to burst them down. Like, I feel like he does something late game that other units cannot do. So that's why I haven't had success with him, but I can imagine, like, you know, I feel like he could have some uses that other units couldn't do. So
that I agree with, but this is where theory and reality separate to me.
I think I'll put him C.
Yeah, I'm happy with C. Okay. I will say, if you want to use him for anybody listening, he has very high base HP, but he has no armor. So if you put armor items onto him, it's very, very valuable.
Because diminishing returns to armor.
Onto him, because he has 1,000 health at 1 star, so he's super nice. Like if you get armor onto him, he can be very tanky, but you have to get the armor onto him.
Yeah. Okay, Warped Sage, I'll put A. Or would you put him S?
Yeah, A is fair.
Yeah.
A is fair.
Water Spirit. This is a tough one, actually, because I used to always think Water Spirit was better than Venom. I think in the late game, Water Spirit falls off. Like, if you're only running it in an Assassin comp. Yeah,
you're only running Assassin. Its benefit is Spirit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so early game, it can get you on some nice...
True. I think she's very strong early game.
I think B is fair to me. It is an Assassin. You'll mix into your Assassin comp. You're not unhappy grabbing. And it's easy to get 3-star. Like, in a lot of winning Assassin comps, you'll see Water Elementals. So.
True. Okay. Werewolf, A.
Ooh, let me look at this.
You want to put him S, but I don't want to put him S.
No, I almost want to put him triple. Like,
are you kidding?
No, and I'll tell you why. He is the most contested piece in the entire game, which tells you something to me. Like, any game I play, there's at least 3 teams that have him. At least, bare minimum. So to me, it's like we can do this on a kind of one-off, but at the same time, if you're watching, right, and I think both of us are playing in the top % of players, right?
Yeah.
So, like, in your games, how many teams do you think grab him? Do you ever see a game where nobody grabs him?
No, because, I agree that Werewolf is a part of pretty much every top team. Like, the only teams you would not be a part of is, like, Knights. I think Knights would be the only team.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, if you have... at some point, like, to me, a tier list has to tell you, like, the true value if you buy this. And to me, he is triple S. Like, you can take him any direction. He can go into human mages. He can go into warriors. He can go into hunters. He can go into, like, he's just so flexible.
True.
And I think that's why he's so contested. The fact that he's so contested, it would be the only, like, reason to me to drop him down.
True. Okay. Would you be happy putting him double S?
Yeah, double S is fine with me.
Okay. Windranger, I like him more than Dwarf Sniper, but I'm going to put him on tier with Dwarf Sniper.
So this is, okay, I will say I'm fine with A, but just an observation I'll give to people is I'm not a big fan of hunters, but when I check the top tier players, like top 10 players on Asia that run marksman, Windranger is not a marksman that they generally mix in. So they generally run Agaris, Dwarf, and Siren. I'll just say that as an observation for people. But I agree with you. He's A. He's really strong early game. Yeah. He fits into comps, but yeah.
And I think his damage from his ultimate usually gets more value than Dwarf Sniper. If he gets a good ultimate off, it will easily outdamage Dwarf Sniper. And even with a bad ultimate, it's usually similar. So I'm surprised that they tend to always run Dwarf Sniper, because also when I was looking, like I talked about earlier in a Reddit post of the top Dota Auto Chess comps, practically everyone ran Windranger, which was the feathered, or they ran, I don't know what the name was in, I think it was Windranger as well in Dota Auto Chess, but they ran that version rather than Dwarf Sniper.
So this brings up a really interesting topic to me, is at the high level, right? I think the reason why is because he's less contested.
Yeah.
And the value of a dwarf sniper, right? Like how much gold you have to invest to get a 2-star Windranger versus getting a dwarf sniper who nobody's picking up.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like I think that's a
good point.
And I don't know how to put that in a tier list. Like I would love everybody watching.
Yeah, I understand.
Like, tell us how you feel about the tier list. Like what style should we go with it? You know, like because congestion to me is something that I factor in heavily, right?
Yeah. I think in our tier list here we haven't factored too much contesting, and I think that's fine, especially in lower ranks. In lower ranks, usually the good units are not too heavily contested, so this will be more applicable to more people, more players out there. It's only contesting comes into play like when you're a rook and above or high bishop and above.
So that's a good point. That's a good point. I like that. Yeah. And then in that case, a Windranger. Yeah, he's definitely A then, because his damage is really, really good.
Yeah, Whispers here, I would say C.
He's only there for synergies. He's so garbage as an individual unit. He's one it's hard for me not to put him on D.
Yeah. Okay. Blight Sorcerer. I honestly I've tried him in a couple of games. I never really know how I feel about him. I feel like he's never needed.
He's 6 mage.
He would be 6 mage now if you're trying to run 6 mage, but I think it's not a good idea to run 6 mages when there's no ogre mage. I think it's way too unreliable.
Unreliable, I agree. But if you go for it, and he is good. He fits in Divinity too. I use him a lot in Divinity, and I use him in 6 mage.
So and
here's something I will say.
Yeah.
I agree with you that it's unreliable. But the games when I am given that option, he's definitely a hero that I'm happy with. So yeah, B, like to me, B is good, and his damage is good.
Yeah.
So for instance, like anybody listening for Divinity, if I get a 1-star, I will switch him out for a 2-star Shining Dragon, and his damage is better.
Yep, true.
So that
Okay, Thunder Spirits, or I mean Dark Spirit. 8.
Yeah. So he counters
Knights.
The top meta, right? Knights. He counters the 6 warrior because he's % health.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that puts him high. I don't know, for some reason when I run, like I agree.
He never does that much for me. Like
right.
When I first started playing, I was like, Dark Spirit is the most broken unit in the game. But then I started running him in comps. I'm like, he never really ends up doing much, and even if he does, it's when the fight is already over, unless you 2-star him and frontline him.
Yeah, he's something you need to put the mana items onto again.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I feel like it's where the theory and the reality separate again with him.
Exactly.
And it's so funny you said that, because that's literally how I was feeling, but it's like the part of me that I'm going to get flamed for saying this.
No,
you know?
I think we have no reservations this tier list. Like we're saying whatever comes to mind. Like I think we're going to get flamed about a lot of things. Mainly, okay, I don't know what, but we can talk about that later. So we have Defector. Defector, I was thinking D, but I don't know, because now that you say shamans regenerate mana quicker, and I have been destroyed by a Defector in a Divinity Mage comp before, because he hexes like 3 or 4 or 5 of your units in any game. And then also
it's funny you say that, because I never use. I'm gonna try that today, because I've actually, to be like, if I'm being honest, I haven't tried that, but it makes sense. Theory crafting wise, it makes sense. So
Like Desperate Doctor is normally the pick here rather than him for Divinity Mage, because you can run both, right? Because of the race, and he stuns, but Defector also hexes a lot, and with Storm Shaman in your team, it's 1 free hex right at the beginning of the match. That could be the game-changing one, you know? So I think C is fine for him.
Yeah,
I think he's better than Frost Knight.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Desperate Doctor, I would. You end up running him a lot in Beast Warriors, and he's also Divinity Mage unit, but I think B.
I would go A. You were starting to say like why I would justify him as A, and but he's same as Worm. Like one of my favorite early game pairings is Worm and Desperate Doctor. Like I'm so happy if I get those 2 early.
Okay. Because now they have Warlocks.
Yeah, you have Warlocks, and it's just, you're so flexible. You can go towards Glacier, you can go towards Beast, you can like. But yeah, if I'm thinking the way what you're saying is, I would run him in Warriors to give my Berserker Glacier.
Yeah.
And to introduce Warlock into it.
Yeah.
I would Glacier Knights, obviously. And then Divinity. So that's 3 comps.
True.
And 2 of which are top, like Divinity and the Warriors, right? Like those are. So I think A. And I mean, I think once again, if we look at this list and I like offer these to you in a shop, right?
Yeah.
Like I would pick him over a lot of the stuff we have in B. So I guess that's what like pushes him up to me.
Yeah. Sure. But then I think this is good. This is good. Okay.
Yes, boost the worm. I agree.
No, I'm not boosting the worm.
Boost the worm.
Devastator. This may be controversial as well, but I would put him B.
I agree. And here's like I'm gonna defend you like you defended me on the is he theoretically is good, but it's like this is what always happens to me. I get offered him, I take him, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put him in when I hit 9. Oh, I'm gonna put him in when I hit 10. You get like, but then it's like when I get there, I'm like, oh, I could have these other synergies. Like I don't know. I just end up he just sits. Yeah. The only comp I reliably put him in is Divinity.
Okay, so again, the Blight
like
Sorcerer reasoning.
Divinity is so sick. Like, when you get like 3 bombs off, the other team's like, "This is broken unit. What the hell?" But he's very close to Blight Sorcerer.
Yeah, because like he unlocks 6 mages, he unlocks 6 goblins. They're both good in Divinity, but other than that, they're not that useful.
Yeah, they're not really. Yeah.
Okay, Strange Egg has to be triple S. Like if we're using Strange Egg on a tier list, we have to put a triple S.
Yeah, you'll never pass it.
Yeah, right? Unless you're early game and you're going for economy. Then would you pass it or would you still buy it?
I still don't. The only time I do, like literally the only time I've ever passed it,
round 1,
or sold it, is before I can afford it.
Yeah.
And if I hit like actually today I had a game. Yeah. I was waiting for my last Lone Druid. Mm-hmm. And I had 2 Strange Eggs, but it wasn't a Lone Druid. It was a Storm Shaman.
Okay.
Right? So I needed the second Storm Shaman. And then I hit 2 Storm Shamans at once. So instead of using the egg, I sold it and then bought 2 Storm Shamans. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah. Of course. that definitely makes sense.
Time. Like, I'm not going to do it otherwise.
Okay, so that's interesting. You would even buy it even early game, like in round 5, round 10, would you buy it and hold it, or would you buy it and use it?
Okay, so this is me personally. I look at it the way that I look at items. Like, I will choose a comp based on having an egg. So, as an example, if I get an early Strange Egg, then I know that my economy is going to be hurting, and I might start going for a lose streak. Or if I'm win streaking, it's going to give me that real power to just like I'll use it just to get it through the 2-star. Okay, so it's like it gives you that flexibility. So if I'm lose streaking, I'll hold it so that I can have an early 2-star epic. If I'm win streaking, I'll use it just for tempo to keep like really punishing people.
Yeah. Okay. So here, I think this is Shining Archer. I'm gonna put Shining Archer in B.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't really like Shining.
Like I don't like Shining Archer either. I don't think she's strong in a feathered comp either. But she unlocks 6 hunters. But she's also decent. She's a decent unit. I don't want to put her in C. But yeah. I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
Like, here's my problem. I much prefer Lightblade Knight to her late game. And right, because like, if you're going to your Glacier Knights, she can be a big thing. If you're going any sort of knight, you need her. Oh, but yeah, Knights have kind of fallen off. And even, I guess they're saying no, but I still prefer Lightblade. Like, Lightblade will top my DPS chart in certain comps. Shining Archer will never ever do that.
Yeah.
And early game, neither of them to me are all that useful.
Yeah.
Assuming equivalent costs, like if you're,
Maybe we should put them both down to C then.
Yeah, that's kind of more how I feel. Also, like it's back to that. What late game comp that's top, like a consistent top 3 comp, does Shining Archer fit into?
Yeah, it would only be 6 hunters.
Yeah, but like as we said, I don't cap it. I've planted the seed in your head. You're going to notice. Watch.
Yeah.
Next time we talk, you're going to be like, you're right. I don't really see them a top 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know. I feel a little bit bad about Lightblade Knight, Feathered Knight, or Shining Assassin, or Shining Archer in this C rank. Like, I want to move them both to B, but then like we have our B tier is practically 20 or 30% of all of our stuff.
Exactly. And this and imagine if we only had 5 rankings. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so Death Prophet, I don't have enough experience with her.
So garbage. She is so garbage.
Why do you say that?
Like, I've got her in a good amount of games, and she's so bad. It takes for like the problem is this: by the time you get her, you've already placed your mana items on something that's carrying you as a comp. So you're normally not going to get mana items onto her, and everybody's dead by the time she ults. And her ult is like meant as a sustaining thing. I tried to front her, but she dies.
It only heals herself, right?
She's like Tsunami Stalker. At 2 stars, she probably would be a lot better, but she's gonna like ult and then immediately die if you front her. But Tsunami Stalker, it's like that's all you need from him, right? You need that. Okay, you ulted, you CC'd, cool. Your life was meaningful. Her, it's like, and also like I'm not a fan of 4 Warlock. I think 2 is enough. I don't see like a boost. And then I would never use her over a Soul Reaper.
Exactly.
I won't use her over because before what I did, I was like, oh yeah, I'll switch out my Desperate Doctor for her, like in a Divinity. And then she just so underperforms. It's like disgusting.
Yeah. So I think C is good for her.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. She's so bad.
Yeah, she has the same synergy as a Soul Reaper. And Soul Reaper you're gonna get before her on pretty much every game. Probably even 2-star Soul Reaper before her. And if you want a Gersis or Warlock synergy, you'll be running Soul Reaper, you'll not be running her. And then by the time she comes around, she offers no synergies, she's 1-star, she can sometimes deal damage, but only if the fight is long and drawn out. And, I think they're better units you could be running over her. I think she's weak, she probably needs a buff or something.
And her damage is bad. Once I made the big mistake I sold somebody, I think I sold a Storm Shaman because I wanted to test her. I was like, okay, cool. I'll put all my mana items on her so she ults quickly. And it was still just so underwhelming. I thought as soon as she ults she's just going to be a leeching tank. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it was just like, no, not at all. And I was like, okay, this unit's useless.
Yeah. Okay, now we're pretty much done, but let's just check if there are any changes I want to make. I feel kind of bad about Lightblade Knight in C. Maybe we should move her to B.
So set the criteria real quick for how we'll finish refining this. Yeah, because I agree with you. I'd like to readjust this a bit.
Okay, so I guess the criteria is, well, we're kind of going by we're basically going by strongest units. We're not talking about them being contested, but we're also going by how realistic is it for you to use it in a game. Like once you have Tsunami Stalker appear in the shop, are you gonna buy it? Probably, in most games, actually not, because your team is pretty much done. You have your 2 stars. 1-star Tsunami Stalker may make the difference, but she's usually too squishy, she dies. But you would still pick her some of the time, so that's why S is for this tier. But for example, like we said, Death Prophet, she's C because by the time she shows up in the shop, you're probably not picking her and using her. So I think that's basically our criteria. Lightblade Knight, you practically will never pick unless you're going for a Knight comp. But in the late game, you can 3-star her and she can be a carry for you. And if you're going for a Knight comp, you need her or you want her. So that's a
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
So booster to B. I can agree with that.
Booster to B. Like for Shining Archer, I can still get behind C because if you're going for a Hunter comp, you're not sold that you're going 6 Hunters. If you're not going 6 Hunters, you don't really care about her. So you might not buy her. So I think C is fine for her.
Yep.
And I think these are pretty much fine here as well. The only other thing I'm thinking about is Argali Knight because, I know Argali Knight is strong, but he's mainly strong in the early game. Apart from that, he's for the Human Silence, but that's only if you're going 6 Knights that you're going to get the Human Silence. Because if you're going to go for 4 Knights, you're probably not running Dragon Knight with Glaciers. Or what
I get Dragon Knight a lot.
You get Dragon Knight even if you're going Glaciers? Like if you're going to go 4 Knights and 4 Glacier?
So this is standard progression. I look at Glacier Knights the same way I look at 6 Warrior, right? You start out with the cheap stuff, but then you're upgrading. There is no reason you should have a Hell Knight over a Dragon Knight.
Okay.
Right? Dragon Knight's more damage, more health, more armor, right? Unless you get a 3-star Hell Knight. But like we said, our discussion has been statistically you're not getting a 3-star Hell Knight. Like,
no, actually, I disagree with that, because I think statistically, if you're going for Knights in the late game, you can expect to get a 3-star Hell Knight, just like how you can expect to get a 3-star Tusk Champion. In the late game, you are expecting to get these for your build. 3-star Tusk, 3-star Abyssal, like that is what you're hoping to achieve by the end of your Warrior Beast comp. Same with 3-star Razorclaw. It may not happen, but I think that's what you're hoping for. And I think Hell Knight, Lightblade Knight, you are hoping to get them to 3-star. That's why you're running them. Because you don't want a 2-star Lightblade Knight, you don't want a 2-star Hell Knight, but because you want to get them to 3-star.
That I agree, but Glacier, the only time to me I see Glacier Knights make it into top 3 is when they win early. Games that go long into 3-star territory, they get crushed by other things. Unless they are way disproportionately ahead.
Yeah.
So, like, to me, okay, this is how I look at it. If you're going to assume that you hit 3 stars, you have to assume the enemy team hit 3 stars.
On their 2 cost and 1 cost.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, like, okay, like, for instance, if a team hits a 3-star Swordsman, 3-star Abyssal Crawler, and you hit a 3-star Hell Knight and a 3-star Lightblade Knight, like, the Warrior's still probably going to stomp on you.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, but we're getting away from the drag. Oh, yeah. So I do agree with you. You would get Hell Knight if you could get him there. But in what happens for me normally is, like with Glacier Knight, I tend to be leveling. So, and that might just be my style of playing, is I try to go to 8, try to go to 9, so I can get in the additional synergies.
Yeah.
And I tend to hit a Dragon Knight, because here's another thing. Dragon Knight is not contested now. Like, nobody uses Dragon Knight. It's not something common, so it's not really hard to get. And then, so I end up getting a 2-star Dragon Knight, and I have, like, a 2-star Hell Knight with 1 extra spare, right? So it's like, I'm still pretty far away from Hell Knight. And then at that point, it's like, why not just switch it out?
Sure.
But, I mean, I do feel what you're saying, but...
Yeah,
I mean, the silence is so important, because if you think of what you're losing to, right? Like, those late game comps the silence matters. Like, I don't think a lot of people consider, like, silencing a God of War is very important. You're saving your team from a lot of damage from a 3-star God of War, which most Divinity players will have. So, I don't know.
No, I agree with that. It's difficult because I used to play a lot of Dragon Knights. I would play them all the time. And my endgame build would always be 3-star Hell Knight, 3-star Lightblade Knight. Like, I would get it consistently. So and then 3-star Hell Knight and Lightblade Knight are going to stomp over Argali Knight and Evil Knight, for example, or, of course. So that's why I feel like, because you can reliably get them to 3-star, if that's the team you're shooting for, they should be at least on tier with the 2-star units. But if we're talking, okay, if all these units are 2-star, then I definitely agree. Dragon Knight or Argali Knight, destroy these two. But that's a little bit of the issue I have here. And also, I think Evil Knight for the Aggressive synergy is very valuable, just like the human synergy. So, like, I kind of want to move Evil Knight up to A for that.
Argali, I will just put into any comp early game, because he'll just carry you. He does true damage.
Yeah.
That's the other thing you can't sleep on. Like, he does true damage.
Yeah.
So, like, Evil Knight is not like that. Evil Knight, the only time I'll use him is if I have an E Ranger.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, okay, let me give you this scenario. You're offered a 1-star E Ranger and a 1-star Evil Knight, or you can grab an Argali Knight. What are you going to do?
I would get the Argali Knight, unless I had E Ranger on the board. Like, I have a 2-star Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it's an independent versus a dependent.
Yeah.
To me, is how I look.
But I'm just worried that late game he falls off. Like, in the early game, I definitely agree. Like, he is much better than the other options. But late game, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it comes down to the 3-star thing.
Yeah.
I agree with you. If we're assuming you're getting things to 3-star, then okay, I agree. But if you're
a 2-star,
if we're 2-starring, then he's better.
Okay.
Than
I think this is a safe way to go with the tier list. I think, other than that, I'm pretty happy. What do you think? Is there any changes?
Let me view real quick. So, God of Thunder, like he's a win. Like if you're a Divinity player and you get a God of Thunder, you're almost guaranteed top 3, and you're probably getting first or second place realistically. So I feel like that probably should make him triple S. His downside is just it's hard to get him.
Yeah.
But
and his damage is a little bit unreliable. Like in Divinity, you need him for the synergy, but his damage is usually still high. But there's also RNG to it, I think, right? There's like
Divinity will never pass him ever.
Yeah. And even a mage player, I think, never passes him. Like even a 3 mage, I would pretty much always pick him.
Because then you can shift towards that 6. So that, I mean, to me, that's kind of like what a tier list is, right?
Yeah.
Like if we're saying you have a hero who you would literally never pass, like that has to be high LNC. See, and when I take that mindset, some of these change. Like that's where the Siren type stuff. And Helicopter is potentially high for me because it's too high for the amount of games that I pick him up. Like if I look at triple S, I pick those up all the time.
Yeah.
S, I pick them up all the time, right? Everything in S, with the exception of Helicopter, I pick up all the time, right? Like multiple times in a day, I pick them up. So to him, I would almost say demote him to A.
I can
feels right.
Yeah, I can agree because I think you can run him in a mage team, but he's not needed. Like there are games where I have him on the bench in my mage team, and I just end up selling him. So if you're not running mages, you're probably not running him in anything else. Like he's mainly there to deal magic damage, and mages play off of that.
Yeah.
So, okay, I think this looks pretty good now.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Fallen, yeah. My Poison Worm still. I like Poison Worm so clutch. If I get early Poison Worm, I very rarely don't get top 3.
Okay, let's put him in A because I understand where you're coming from, and I just personally don't value Poisonous Worm that much, but we all have like our preferences and like I just need to play with him more than I guess, like, and try to play around him.
Actually, I think that would be I think that would be a great end note for this. What would be the unit you think, like, based on my hate of it or my kind of thing, would you say, hey, give it another try? So mine for you is Poison Worm. Like I'm saying to you, like, you gotta experiment with this Poison Worm a bit. What would yours be for me from after our discussion?
Well, after our discussion, you keep wanting to put Siren down, but I know you play Siren. Like it's not like you don't play, but so maybe Windranger and Hunters, I would say, because I think I would always go Windranger over the Dwarf Sniper. Like I would never go Dwarf Sniper unless I get him offered in 2-star earlier. That would be the only reason.
Oh, so him I use a lot. I mean, I do use Windranger
you do
a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
and
you said one that was something I'm trying to remember. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
No, let's see. Maybe it was like 3-starring the Knights, but like I guess
actually, it might honestly be the Hell.
Yeah.
And I use Hell Knight, but I'm not shy to.
I do not. Honestly, I agree with you. I don't like Hell Knight, but if you 3-star him, he trumps the other 2-star Knights apart from Dragon Knight. So that's why, and I do reliably 3-star him. Like I played many Dragon Knights games back when they were stronger. They're still pretty strong, and I would always end up 3-starring him at the end of the game. Like pretty much every game, reliably. So usually that can happen because you're gonna go for Knights when other people are not picking them. Like if there are 3 or 4 other people going for Knights in the early game, you're not going for them. But if there's only one other player or none going for them, you're gonna go for Knights. You're going to get the 3-star Hell Knight, just how you're gonna get 3-star Phantom Queen and Assassins, and you're trying to get
that's like a very fair point. That's very true.
Yeah, but and
I remember what it was. Defector. I'm definitely going to be experimenting with Defector in Divinity.
And I don't really even use Defector. I've never actually used Defector in Divinity, but I did get destroyed by it once, and I was like, it just makes sense, you know?
I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
That's how I find gold. That's why I love being at the top of the ladder. It's not so I can be like, oh, I'm at the top. It's so I can get crushed by some of these crazy things and then experiment.
Yeah, that's really cool. And and I think your tip that you gave me about warlocks and mages and shamans generating more mana per auto attack, I never knew that.
Yeah, that's a big one. That'll help you out.
That's crazy. Like, because I'm always like trying to analyze things like that, but that's so good to know.
My last comment for us is the Thunder Spirit. I think we should boost up. The reason why is like he's core to Divinity and he's core to Mage comps.
Yeah,
and they're both very strong.
And he always gets off reliable damage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He he will always ult. Like if no one else ults on your team, Thunder Spirit is going to be ulting because you're gonna frontline him, or he will just get its ult off. So
yeah. And he won't always top your DPS mirror, but he'll be high. And he's kind of like Werewolf. Like, he's every game, multiple teams are buying him. So, I mean, he's a seriously good piece.
True.
Okay, I think we're pretty... I think we did a pretty good job.
I think so, too. It's always difficult with these. Like, you can never get them completely accurate, but we made a good attempt.
I agree.
But I hope you guys enjoyed this tier list, and more collaborations hopefully to come in the future. But yeah, this was really fun, and I've never made a tier list before. I think this was a good first attempt at it. So
yeah, and as a closing note, I would love to hear like what all the viewers have to say, because I think we brought up a lot of interesting points about tier lists and what you consider when you're placing a hero, right? Is it individually how strong they are? Is it the synergies that they provide? Is it how strong they are early, how strong they are late? Is it how contested they are? So I would love to see what people think about that. Like, what are the things that people, when you look at a tier list, what are you looking for? Yeah. So anyways, that's my note.
Yep. Okay, so thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you in the next video.
Yep, take care.